Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for the 19th of April. And what we're looking at here is the futures market with the sell-off in red here. So we're seeing 6.8 billion in short positions come into play here for this market here. So it's been quite excessive really compared to what we've seen each day there for that. I think one of the other interesting points is that in the open interest here for the futures market, we should have picked this up a little bit earlier, but we could see that the open interest each day here was diminishing through the tops here. So it's something that we'll need to keep an eye on as well. Right, coming into the wave count here. So there's probably different ways to count this ending here, but we could say that at 65,000, the medium level, we've certainly seen a strong sell-off at that point. So there will be over the days ahead, we'll look at different ways to count this. But before we do that, if that is correct, if we do have a top in play here as a wave 3, because we were looking for this wave 5 of 3 further up here for this. So it's sort of left us with sort of 3 waves here. So the obvious thing in that way would be look at this as an ending diagonal triangle. But that would be sort of suffice from this low, but we've got 5 waves here. So as an A and a B and a C finishing off here, possibly for that. I can see that we can count it a different way. Whichever way we count it, technically looking at the chart with Elliott, we would be looking for a move back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here. And in very simple terms, we'd be looking at an A and a B and a C wave in that regard. So we could possibly see the price come back down between 42 and 43,000 for this wave 4. It's okay to have that in mind, and but secondly as well, we've got to understand that well, I see the move down here, currently moving down here. I do see it as a corrective wave, so we just also need to be mindful that at what point would we be wrong and we would see this market push straight up from here. So we don't want to be left in the cold with the wrong count for this. So we need to know at what point we would be wrong. We need to look at the long side, we need to look at the short side, and we need to weigh the situation up. So today I'll spend a bit of time on Bitcoin, but I'll also have a look at Ethereum as well. But with Ethereum, we'll just look at the move down through here and compare that to Bitcoin. So let's go in and have a look at this count. This is one way of counting it. Now you may sort of throw things at me for this, but from wave 3 here to wave 4 here, looking at 1 and 2, and that 1 can also sit here as well for 2 here, and looking at this as 3 and 4, and then going up for wave 5 here, which would leave this as 1 and 2 here. And this was always a very awkward situation in here, but wave 3 and 4 and 5 for that. So that would be a reasonable count. I know that most folks will count this as an A and a B and a C here as an ending diagonal triangle, but we'll see how that sort of plays out. But the main point here is that we really need to, obviously work, focus in on this and try to figure out what we've got here. And normally what I do is really just be a little bit patient from this point in here and just look at the first leg in a correction to see if the first leg here is in 5 waves or 3 waves in this first leg here. Now it looks, if I was looking at it as an impulsive wave here, I would probably be, where did I count that? Let me just check. So if I was looking at it in a bearish count, I'd be looking at it like this here. It'd be the only way to count it in a bearish count would be, well, we know we've got just have a look at this. We know we've got 5 waves down in this first leg here with an ABC pattern here for wave 2, then down for 1 and back for 2 here, and then down for 1 and back for 2, and so on. So if you're counting it as a bearish count to the downside, this is how you would count it here. So in this case, it would still have further to unfold at this point here. So I think we just observe it. But if, let's just say if, right, if this occurs, then we'd be looking at an ABC back up here and then another 5 waves down, and we would need to label this one here wave A here and wave B here, and then down for wave C here with another 5 waves here, because if we get 5 waves here, then we'll get a correction in 3 and then another 5 down. So I don't know if we're going to get this 5 waves down here just yet. It's something that we sort of look at, but always when we have a correction, if the market comes up and the market's coming down here, always wait to see if this is in 5 waves here, or in 5 waves here, or does the first leg come down in 3 waves, because there's 11 to 12 different corrections, which is arguable in Elliott wave. But if there's 11 or 12 of them, if we get 5 waves down or we get 3 waves down, that basically halves the problem straight away. We'll end up with only having to work through sort of 6 of them, say, or 5 of them, probably 4. But it's one of the things that we normally need to do at this point. Now, yeah, so I don't know if this is the case with this, but that's just the more bearish count in play with it. So let's just go back to where we were here for a moment. I think we were somewhere sort of in here for this. Yeah, so this is trying to understand if we get 5 waves in this first leg here. I mean, there's a good case for a nice strong 3rd wave in here, isn't there? And also too, I need to point out that when you get a big strong drop like this, obviously buying opportunities come in, and some would expect it to come back to the 38.2%, but a lot of the times when you get strong moves, they can come back to 50%. So we just need to be, it's another extra 10%, but we just need to be mindful of that. But whichever way you look at it, it's a little bit sort of tricky. This wave 4 low here to this wave 5 top here, that's also brings us into from that whole trend there, just pointing out that brings us into that 50-60% retracement level here. So is it possible to count this up as wave 1 here and wave 2 here? I doubt it, but anyway, it's just something we normally look for support here, but we've got the levels here as well. So let's go in here and take a closer look at this particular move here. And I think I really need to go to the tick chart to do that. But instead of going to 100 ticks, I'm going to go to 20 ticks. Just before we do that though, this is just the 4-hour chart. So in a nutshell, this is what we'd sort of be looking at. I think this is what we'd be looking at here. We're either going to come down for the A wave to here, and then we're going to go to the B wave, say here, and then down to the C wave here, or we're going to come down to here, and then we're going to have a rally here for this, and then come down for this one here. If indeed we're in wave 4, but I can't see it fitting any other way for this. So let's just go to the 20 tick chart and just sort of pull this apart a little bit here for this. Right, so it'll be a little bit sort of squashy, but one of the first things that I want to look at here, it's difficult. We know that we can count this down here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we've got 5 waves here, we've got 3, we've got this corrective move here, we've got another 5 here, it's a little bit tricky to count this down as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to this particular point. The reason for that is this wave 4 here clearly overlaps wave 1 by quite a bit. So it's probably not the way to count that as 5 waves. in that case. We know that looking at the last picture, we can count it. The only other way to count it down, really, I mean, we can count it down as an ABC for the A wave here, the B wave, and the C wave here. That's possible. The other way to count this is down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, and then going into a third wave. And we just had a look at that count, didn't we? So that would bring us down, you know, this bringing this down further at this point. So looking at this picture here, I just thought, you know, there's not a lot we can do until it kind of shows us what's sort of going on a little bit. But I do want to have a look at this first little structure in here, just for counting purposes. From wave B here, we've got 1 and 2 here, and we can look at this as wave 3, 4, and 5. Into here for this particular low here. We do have good volume support coming in on the low here. We need to see if that volume is actually going to push us up a little bit. Also too here, one of the this next leg here, on Ethereum, I can count it up as 5 waves, but on this leg here, and this is important because this will tell us what the rest of the correction is. It's difficult for me to get 5 waves in this from this low here up to this point. It's hard for me to get 5 waves in this point here. So if we get 3 waves here, like this A, B, and C here, then it's telling me that this whole move here is corrective. I can get 5 waves in this first leg here, but still, I'm still missing out on the third wave in this instance. If I have a look at Ethereum in this case, this is 100 ticks here, but I just want to focus on this little move up here, because if this market was, you know, if we're going to count this down as an A and a B and a C, and that's the end of it here, and we're going to go up here, well, then we would need an impulse wave here. And like I said, I can get an impulse wave here for this market, but not for Bitcoin in that case. So from the low here, I can count 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2, and then 5 waves up for 3, 4, and 5 for the third wave. The fourth wave here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, slightly overlap here, and wave 5, but we can forgive it at that degree of structure. And then we have 3 waves down here, as an A and a B and a C. But the point being here is that in this case, I can count 5 waves up here. They can still be an A wave. And then we've got to look at this here. In this case for Ethereum, the 50 and the 60% is at 2,300. So for this market to be bullish, we would need to see the market sitting on top of the 61.8% here. But in my view, this is where we'll probably come to fail at that point. Because that's the 50-60% retracement level. Let me just double check that. That's not from this point, is it? Yes, it is. So yeah, that is from the top, because sometimes I normally just take it on the last leg, but it is from the top. So to have this as the B wave here is quite suitable at this point, and the A wave would be down here for this, and then we look for the C wave down here further for that. So I need to count this up. I need to lift it up a degree of structure, but it's in its later stages here for that, for Ethereum. So coming back to Bitcoin here for a moment, yeah, it's difficult for me to get 5 waves up in this case here. I just couldn't get it. I can get 5 waves in this little move here for that, but an A and a B and a C plays out, then an A and a B and a C here. And then I was trying to figure it out up here as well. Doesn't sort of look right now that this is pulling back into this space here. So it will probably end up being wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and 5 coming up into this space. But that's not even finishing off very nicely here as well for that. But this stronger move down here is a concern, I'd have to say. If this move here becomes below the 61.8%, then there's a problem with that as well. So that previous low here, if the market finds that as the resistance, then we'd need to call a top in for that there as well here. So below the 55, it wouldn't be a good look at that point. So coming back to that previous chart I had here, which I think was on the 15-minute chart here, of this here. This is the first one I showed you. This is probably what we're looking at here for this. So what it does do, it brings us back. If this is right, if we get 5 waves here, then we'll get a correction, and then we'll get another 5, which will bring us down to around the 40,000, 43,000, somewhere in that vicinity for that. So, I've got Bitcoin in here myself, as you know, not a lot, 3.8 Bitcoin, but it's still significant. But I don't actually care where the market goes, as I said before. If it comes down to here, I just see that as a fantastic buying opportunity, a buying opportunity that I didn't think that I was going to get again. We were going to get it at this wave 4 degree here, but I thought it was going to come much later in the game. But it's coming, Christmas is coming early, so to speak. So I know that we had a lot of short trades on, long trades on as well. They've been stopped out, but they've been stopped out in profit when all's said and done. So I'm okay with that. So look, at the end of the day now, we really just have to wait, give it a little bit of time to see if we get this 5-wave structure down here for this. So we'll either have this structure here, or we'll need to copy that and put wave A here, and then we'll look for wave, copy this and put wave B over here. And this wave B here could just get a bit more complicated. So this can be an ABC just for the A wave, down for the B wave, and then up for the C wave again. So there's a lot that can actually go on here. So I'm not going to call in any trades at this point. This market has, had $6 billion worth of futures contracts, being smacked into this market. Not all from sort of, a lot of them would have been later. There only would have been about probably $3 or $4 billion the time that this sort of hit here. And all the sort of new traders that come in, that don't understand the wave structure very well, they will all be buying on this particular low here, holding it up. But I don't know if they realize the weight of everything that's come in, but we'll see. We'll see how it is. We can't go long here. Unless you're scalping, which is a different thing, but we can't go long here until we either understand the structure or we see that the market is sitting above the 60,000 in this case. I'm talking about the safe trade here, essentially. So we would need to see a classic trading levels pattern sitting on top of this 60,000 before we can go long here. So we'll need to see, how it goes. We'll need to see something like this before we can move off again at that point, if that's going to be the case. But otherwise, we need to be really concerned about this B wave here, however it's going to come, either with 5 waves. It'd be nice to have 5 waves down here, because then we know that we'll get another 5. If we only get 3 waves down here, it causes a bit of a problem, because we could end up with any part of the flat family corrections. We could end up with triangles, double zigzags, all sorts of things. But if it's just a simple 5-wave structure down here, then we know that we're going to get 3 and then another 5. So it makes it very easy. It makes it very easy to buy and short in this length. We can short the 3rd wave here, the 4th, and then the 5th wave down here. It'll be quite clear, reasonably clear anyway. We might get lucky, and there'll be 5 waves in this last leg here, and then there'll also be 5 waves in this last leg here, and we'll pin those right down, so we get the turn here, and we'll be off at that point. So we'll be able to catch this quite easily. But if we get the 5 waves in this structure here, if we only get 3 in this, we end up like a little bit complicated, like we have been with gold. You know, it just ends up in a variety of patterns that we got to kind of decipher, and it's only once it's really matured and started its trend up that we can kind of understand it again. But that's where we are, folks. Let's just see if we pull down to here, or if we rally up to here first and then drop from that point. But either way, we're still looking at, you know, if we consider everything, this is in Elliott wave terms, if we've got if we've got wave 4 here and to wave 5 here, no matter how you count this here, no matter how you do that, the Elliott wave thing would suggest that we'd be coming back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. Now, I do find it sometimes that we don't have to come all the way back down. We may end up coming a bit higher in this, you know, in this regard, and that's what's been happening on the way up. But we'll see about that. We won't know that until it gets there. So just to recap a little bit, we need to know if we're going to rally up to the 61.8%. There's a case for that, and there's also a case that we can stop and turn here and come down for 5 waves here. And I would prefer it if we do come down for 5 waves, because it makes the ABC here for the B wave well, that doesn't need to be easy. That could also that could be complicated or simple, but it doesn't matter, because we get 5 waves here. We know that we'll get a rally in some way, which could be simple or complex, but having that 5 waves here makes it easier for the next 5 waves that are moving down through here as well for this. So a lot of other coins and so on will be following all of this. So we just need to see how it plays out. With Ethereum here for this, we can just pull this together a little bit further here for this. There can be another rally to finish this off here for this, and this would make the B wave here, but I'd need to lift this up. So these 1s and 2s here, they would need to be counted in green waves 1, green wave 2, green wave 3, green wave 4, and green wave 5 here. So yeah, we'll just see how this plays out. This is kind of a better case for Ethereum, having this A, B, and C here, which should be really an A wave here, B wave here, and C wave over here for that B there. And if I'm totally wrong and the market is going to continue to move up here, then we need support on the 61.8%. And the Ethereum is leading the way up here. So we'll get the lead from Ethereum rather than Bitcoin. Okay. So anyway, that's sort of where we are with all of this. I won't go into the altcoins, but I will be doing more, just to let you know that I'm thinking about creating 3 portfolios. So the first portfolio will be some top cryptos in there, which will be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, and maybe Link, and then I'll do a second tier of portfolio with another 5 or 8 cryptos in there, and then I'll do a third one which will be you know, really speculative buys. So that's what I'll be sort of working on in the weeks and months ahead. So we'll be focusing on the cryptos a little bit more, but I wanted to sort of package them up and separate them a little bit and so on. And I probably won't be able to do them every day, so to speak. So I'll just try to get a little bit more organized on that. But I'll try and get ready once this C wave has come in, which will give us a nice chance to capture a lot of the smaller ones and the blue chips, the mediums, and the micro ones. Alrighty, well, let's just see how this plays out with all of this. Yep. Alrighty, trade safe. Cheers.